Hello, people around the world. I'm Jovan Scurry.
What's up, everyone? My name is Monet, Heath.
And welcome to the inaugural episode of Ballin With Bison.
This is where we'll cover all Howard University sports, some HBCU sports, and some sports in Black news as well.
So let's get right into it.
Yes.
Let's do it. The Howard Bison football team finished the fall 2021 season with a 3-8 record in 5th place within the MEAC division. While it was a disappointing year, there were many highlights to note for this team. Junior running back Ian Wheeler was the second leading rusher on the team, totaling 443 rushing yards on 65 8 attempts. Wheeler averaged 6.8 yards and scored 8 rushing touchdowns, which is as many as all his teammates combined. In addition, Wheeler also had 11 kickoff returns for 265 yards, including a 96-yard return for a touchdown versus Norfolk State. Junior quarterback Quentin Williams and senior defensive back Aaron Walker were also selected for the 2021 MEAC All-Conference third team for their performance during the fall 2021 semester. Williams had over 2,300 passing yards with 16 touchdowns and also 7 interceptions. He also grounded 94 net rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. He finished the season with a rating of 137.03. Walker was second on the team in solo 43 and total 58 tackles and recorded 2 quarterback hits. Walker was selected to the 2022 HBCU Bowl, an all-star that recognizes the brightest athletes from historically black colleges. Antoine Murray, senior wide receiver, shines as the Bison's #1 receiver. Murray had 33 receptions for 629 yards, leading the team in receiving yards, touchdowns, and yards per reception. Murray's best game was against Morgan State, where he recorded 4 catches, 171 yards, and a touchdown. The team's best matchup was their season finale against Virginia University Lynchburg. The Bison had a 56-6 halftime lead before the game was prematurely ended. Nevertheless, Quentin Williams went for 10-14 for 176 yards for 3 touchdowns. The team recorded 16 rushing attempts for 108 yards and 5 touchdowns. It was the biggest margin of victory for Howard all season. So, our football team, how do you feel?
Honestly, I think they're working really hard. They had an alright season, and I think that they have a lot of heart. So if they just keep pushing and they work hard in the off season, I definitely think we'll see some results next year.
Yeah, it was nice to come out here and see them play so hard and achieve the wins. One thing they did have was our school support. A lot of the games were packed up. We had a great time in the stadiums. So I'd say if they just feed off of us, and look to the stars, they could probably make it next year.
I agree. We definitely want to make sure we support our Bison. Now, continuing on with fall sports, the women's volleyball team did a very, very great job this year. Howard's women's volleyball had yet another stellar season, and to top it all off, a MEAC championship. This championship will make it the 6th in the past 7 seasons for the Lady Bison. They now stand neck and neck with Florida A&M for the most volleyball titles in the MEAC with an astounding 13 wins. The team was led by out-of-this-world freshman twins, Simone and Bria Woodward, a tandem that propelled the Lady Bison to 15 wins in the regular season. Both twins received MEAC All-Tournament team honors, along with junior teammate Tamar Wells. While Howard shared the regular season conference championship with Delaware State, the postseason championship showed who was really on top. The Lady Bison started off shaky with a loss in the first set, but came back the next 3 sets with scores of 25-21, 25-20, and another 25-20. The Woodard twins played such a big role in the game, especially Simone, who captured the winning block and was named MEAC Volleyball Championship Outstanding Performer. Her sister Bria also gained another accolade to add to her resume, MEAC Rookie of the Year, showcasing her as the best newcomer of the conference. The Lady Bison team is on the right track, and we can't wait to see what they accomplish next season.
This is my first time ever actually watching volleyball, like in person, and they were great. It was cool to see them jump in the air, do all that crazy stuff. It was very nice.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I was able to catch the first half of the tournament here at Howard University, and they just did a great job. Communication is great, really great players, so I think that next season they'll definitely be good, and we'll probably see another championship, definitely.
A lot of good young players, too. A lot of freshmen on the team, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Speaking of wins, our Howard men's basketball team, they struggled a little bit, but, they worked their way. They showed what they're worth in the future. Elijah Hawkins, he's a freshman, and he did great this season, so I'm very, very ready to see him in the future. And speaking of the Howard men's basketball team, they have had a year to remember. Whether it was the flashy freshman Elijah Hawkins, paint-dominated graduate student Randall Brumant, or senior sharpshooter Kyle Foster, leading the way, Howard showed promising signs all year long. The Bison finished this season with a 16-13 record and a 9-5 record in the MEAC Conference. Displaying a solid home presence, the Bison would finish the season with an 8-4 record. Howard would continue to hold their fort and display moments of solidity in the losses to top-ranked D1 schools, Georgetown, Notre Dame, and Villanova, 2 of which made it to the NCAA Tournament. Speaking of the NCAA Tournament, the Bison went 8-1 in February, giving us hopes that the MEAC could be theirs for the taking to secure their spot in the NCAA Tournament. However, the Howard men's basketball team was upset on March 9, 2022 by Coppin State Eagles, who possess a 6-22 record. Despite the surprising loss, the Howard men's basketball team should be excited. We, the Bison Proud, have high hopes and expectations for this team next year, and we trust our men's basketball team is about to kill it in the offseason and bring us to the tourney next year, and that MEAC championship will be ours.
Yeah, I agree. I personally think since I've started at Howard University, this is the best team that we have right now. They were able to make history this year at the first ever NBA HBCU Classic game, and they won. So,
shout out Chris Paul.
Yeah, obviously Howard always knows that we make history, so that's definitely cool that we were the first winners of that event. So I definitely think that we just have a little bit of work to do in the off season, but next year I have no worries about this team.
Gotcha.
All right, speaking of our basketball team, though, we also have our women's basketball team that just went to the NCAA Tournament. That's very exciting.
That's very, very tight. That's very, very cool.
This past Wednesday, Howard women's basketball took on Incarnate Word in the round of 68 at the Women's NCAA Tournament. Howard punched its ticket to the tournament by ending a 21-year drought dating back to their last MEAC championship in 2001. Incarnate Word, the winners of the Southland Conference, competed in its first ever appearance in the tournament, where both Howard and Incarnate Word were looking for their first ever tournament win. Howard spent the majority of the first half in a bit of a struggle to keep up without their leading scorer, Destiny Howe, due to early foul trouble. The Bison out-rebounded Incarnate Word 46-28, with Brooklyn Fort Davis's 15 points and 11 rebounds, and Chrislyn Marsh's 16 points and 14 rebounds, leading the team to a victory in the end with a 55-53 win, advancing them to the round of 64 to play number 1 seed, South Carolina. This is Howard's first ever NCAA tournament win, in which they were 0-5 in the past appearances. This was also the first ever First Four expansion game for the women's tournament field. An expansion first made in the men's tournament field in 2011.
It was great to see all of the feedback online and social media about people supporting our black women making it to a championship.
Yeah, they're definitely a really great team. Players like Destiny Howe have been working very, very hard this season, and they've definitely proven that.
My favorite player, Chrislyn Marsh, she's a senior. Shout out to Chrislyn Marsh. She's very, very good. I think she recorded 16 rebounds during the game against Incarnate Ward, which is really cool.
Yeah, she did really, really great.
Overall, love our Howard Bisons. They did a great job this season. I'm ready to see them next semester.
Definitely.
I'm Jovan Scurry.
And I'm Monet Heath.
And we'll see you next time on Ballin' With
Bison.